I be in the wind. The visuals for part 5 of my testimony were captured in Colorado at the Garden of the Gods. In this video, I'm going to discuss the beasts that were targeting me, how I knew they were beasts, as well as where in scripture this strange reality is revealed. In my dealings and the back and forths between AT and I, as well as several people from the first and second group of thugs, there were moments where I caught all of them revealing too much when toying with me. They were all guilty of being too cocky and confident in their evil plans behind my back to leave me homeless and either dead or locked up in prison, in attempts to frame me for serious crimes that I had nothing to do with. None of them realizing that they were all providing me clues along the way to help me put the story together. For now, since most of my clues came from her, we're gonna focus on AT. Dealing with AT in our 5-year on and off situationship was pure chaos and hell. She was bipolar. At times, she was thoughtful and a total sweetheart. Other times, she was pure evil and a complete narcissist. And with my own 2 eyes, I saw AT shapeshift twice. Meaning right in front of me, she appeared strangely disfigured and beast-like. The first occurrence happened during an argument. Her truck was having issues and she wanted me to give her money to put it in the shop. While we were in her truck, I was driving and explaining to her that I didn't have the money to do that. In an outburst, she starts screaming at the top of her lungs and bangs the passenger side dashboard with both fists. I'm telling you straight up, she didn't look normal. AT's a pretty girl, but her neck and her arms were inflamed. She looked really similar to those photos floating around of Beyonce from that Super Bowl performance several years back. I would write that first sighting off as she was just really tripping and I was seeing things. But the second time I seen her do it confirmed what I saw before and I knew I wasn't tripping. It happened while we were doing you know what. I'm gonna avoid the details of exactly what happened, but we'll just say that I was being a bit aggressive and ended up letting her go. And this isn't exactly what she said, but we'll just say she said, "Don't worry about hurting her while I was doing stuff." When she looked back at me, she looked disfigured in the face like before, but her eyes were almost like cat-like and glowing a fluorescent reddish yellow color. I kept my composure, but I was freaking out. And honestly, I couldn't even concentrate after that. After that incident,
run.
I would put some separation in between AT and I, and we wouldn't talk for a little while. I had to sort through my thoughts and my feelings about what I had saw. Both instances were a few weeks apart, and at that time, I'm pretty sure she was going back and forth between me and Magic Don Juan. And I'm pretty sure that both of them were running around doing things for the occult. Like I said earlier, I would catch AT saying things that would give me clues, on top of retrieving hundreds of messages from her phone. Enough was revealed for me to come to the conclusion that around that time, she was showing up with that guy to secret gatherings and secret parties. The rest of it I pieced together from my own study and meditation. Enter Mr. Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was known as the wickedest man that ever lived. Aleister Crowley was obsessed with the occult and magic from a very young age. He was responsible for authoring several dozen books. In them, he would write about his first out-of-body experience where he explained that an entity took over him and he became a beast. He also describes in his books how he sacrificed people and children, how he invented, practiced, and perfected modern sex magic, how he founded the esoteric religion Thelema, in which he claimed was dictated and governed by a supernatural entity that was named Iwis. Crowley would claim that Iwis promised him that the esoteric religion Thelema that he started, as well as the Book of the Law, in which Crowley claimed that he was possessed by Iwis when he wrote it, would be the cornerstones of New Age magic and Crowley would be crowned the architect of it. I think Crowley was under the impression that this was going to happen during his lifetime, because he would die sickly and broke, with his famous last words being, "I am perplexed. Satan, get away from me. Another famous quote made famous by Crowley, do what thou wilt. If you remember in an earlier video I did, I explained how A.T. was an aspiring rap artist before she met me. And so was Magic Don Juan. I found some old videos from some music that he had done. A.T. was in a couple of his videos. And honestly, he's trash. A.T.'s actually a better lyricist. Crowley also authored a book called The Book of Thoth. Thoth was the Egyptian god of the moon and was depicted as a baboon, a heavily maned-seated animal with paws resting on his knees, and the lunar disc and crescent on his head. And during many of the long, strange talks that A.T. and I had, yep, you guessed it, she was constantly bringing up Thoth. What I'm suggesting is that there are people in this country who sold out to the entertainment and music industries and didn't even get rich or famous, including several street dudes, drug dealers, pimps, traffickers, and scammers in a secret coven to rub shoulders with the rappers, producers, singers, and actors. And I'm confident in this because a family member of mine from that first group of thugs is a gatekeeper for that coven. All-Star Game 2013, Houston, Texas. My little brother and I are chilling at the House of Blues on the smoke deck. The actress Lala personally comes and invites us upstairs to a private concert by Wale. I don't believe in coincidences. I didn't realize it then, but she was instructed to do that at the request of that family member of mine. Anyways, once these people sell out and take this oath to join this coven, they become beasts. And this is not the only secret society or coven that this is true for. What's even more eerie is this is all written about and covered in warnings in the Holy Bible. People just don't realize what they're reading when they read it. Or because the world's been lying to them and concealing the truth their whole lives, they just don't want to believe it and can't wrap their mind around it. In the carnal world, the flesh is married to the spirit, and it's the spirit of that person that makes them beasts. As far as those selling their souls and being changed over to beasts, consider Daniel chapter 4. Here you'll read about God changing King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon over to a beast for a time. And it wasn't because Nebuchadnezzar didn't believe in God, but because of his pride and ego for his role as king and leader of Babylon, revealing that man can be changed to beast and back again. Also consider Proverbs chapter 24 verses 21 through 22, which heeds the warning to meddle not with them that are given to change. As always, I encourage everyone watching to study, and may God bless us all with understanding.